Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Creative Mind Expo. Today we have some amazing trailblazer in media and film joining me for a powerful, powerful panelist discussion. On my right to my end, we have Mr. Dr. Smiley. So, next we have Nakia Dillard. On my right, we have Diamond Sampon. And my name is Jacinth Headlam, your moderator. We have Chardell Moore, Angel Davis, and Matt Graham. And welcome again to the Creative Mind Expo. And our discussion will be people in media and film. Are we ready to get into it? Yes. So without further ado, in order to be trailblazers and to walk and to change your dream into reality, that takes courage. That takes faith. That takes not walking by fear, but strictly walking in faith and hard work. And these people are sitting next to me because they are hard worker. They're trailblazers. They fought against the odds to still rise to the top when everything around them and in them in the given circumstances wanted to fail, was set out for them to fail, yet they still rise and they're still standing. So I want to give it up for them. My trailblazers, yes, yes. I salute you guys. I salute you guys. Seriously. It takes heart to do the things that we do. Seriously. So, without further ado, my first question, and you know what? Before we get started, just so you guys can know just a little bit about everyone, so you know their background, please, Mr. Smiley, just briefly tell us who you are. Yes. Nakia Dillard.
Check, check. Hey.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nakia Dillard. I'm an actor, casting director, entrepreneur. Right now, currently, I work on a TV show called Wonder Years, BMF, uh, Black Lightning. I
Yes.
was on The Wire. I did a lot of stuff. And I have an acting school called I Can Acts, and I help a lot of uh, kids as well as adults get their feet wet in the industry.
Yes, yes, I love it. And Diamond Sampon.
Oh, that's me.
Yes, honey. Yes,
I'm
queen.
Diamond Sampon. I'm an actress and a filmmaker. Um, I have a nonprofit organization and I have a production company based in Maryland. And we've been doing a lot of films and producing a lot of films in Africa and here in America as well. So it's been really exciting to close that gap and bridge.
Yeah,
So the films that I do, I believe is different. It's really exciting,
yeah.
and that's what excites me to keep telling those type of stories. So
Good, good.
thank you.
I love it, love it. And for those who don't know me, my name is Jacinth Headlam, an author of the book Love After. A lot of people might recognize me. I work on air at QVC. So yeah, we get you to shop, 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 shop. And also, I'm a film producer and an actress as well. And to my left, we have Chardell Moore.
I love your outfit and your vibe. It's just everything.
Thank you.
My name is Chardell Moore. I'm a multidisciplinary artist. I'm a speaker, an award-winning television anchor, a poet, producer, director, and founder of Motivational More, a multimedia and communications company aimed to elevate the human consciousness.
Let's go with the elevator speech. Yes, I need to see you. Okay.
Thanks, sis.
Angel Lavis.
Yes, I am Angel Levis. I am an award winning producer and director, as well as the first Black woman on Podcast Network owner. So I am all around amplifying Black voices. And yeah, I love working in media and just the positivity that we're able to create in the world through storytelling.
Love it, love it. That's our money guy, Mac Graham. He gets the monies.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Matt Graham. I'm a nonprofit consultant, a nonprofit executive. I'm a consultant. I was a consultant for a Statue of Liberty campaign. I'm currently a consultant for Fordham University. I was also a director of Martin Luther King Center. and I recently started a nonprofit consulting firm that actually help communities of color get funding.
Yes, love it, love it, love it. So now that you guys have a back seat to who we are and what we're doing, now we can get started in our question. So, my first question is, was there a moment in your journey or career where you just felt like this is too much and was ready to throw in the towel? What was that experience? Do you care to share, and what did you learn from that? Because you're still here, right? So, what did you learn from that? But was there a moment in your journey where you're like, this is too much? I don't know if this is for me. I got to go back to a regular, not to do like, this is, I just can't. Anyone can go first.
I'll start. I don't know if it was a particular moment that I wanted to give up, but I do feel like that transition period from working a 9 to 5 into finding who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing in this world. And so the work that I was doing has always been in media. And literally, it was when I had my second child, the company came and was like, yeah, thank you for your service, but we don't need you anymore. We're going to do a whole reorg. And I found myself in a space of, okay, well, what am I going to do next? Like, this has been so much of my identity and what I've been doing, creating content and all that. And so it was a pivotal moment in my life where I had to decide, am I going to bet on me or am I going to keep making money for everybody else?
Wow.
And I chose to bet on me. So it's kind of like the reverse to what you're asking, but it was that decision that I was put in that made me say, okay, I'm a bet on me. Because if I can make millions for y'all, what can I do for myself?
Let's go. Let's go. I mean, because you are your biggest investor, you will always be your number one investor. You are a walking billboard. You are the entrepreneur. You are the brand. So if, like she said, if you can make this company this amount of money and put this much effort, imagine if you put that into yourself, how much further you would go. Because people are not buying into what you're doing. They're buying into you. You are the brand. Next, anyone else?
I noticed when you asked that question
Don't
that,
turn the mic off, y'all.
there we go. I noticed when you asked that question, not everyone was jumping like I want to talk about the fact that I want to quit. And I think that's because I'm saying this to represent how I think we all feel, is that when you find your purpose and you find your calling,
Yeah.
it gives you the faith to say, God's going to do this and he's going to
Yeah.
guide me. So when I lost my mom from Alzheimer's, I decided to give my life to God. And everything I've been doing, I couldn't relate to your question because everything I've been doing fills me with all the inspiration, joy I need.
Yes, yes. I love that. So you have no choice but to keep going. Yes, that's faith,
At
man.
the pandemic, I lost 99% of my income, actually more because I was an event
Oh
person.
my gosh.
And my wife looked at me and she says, we lost everything. What are we going to do? And I said, I don't know. And she says, you don't seem to be worried. And I said, I'm not. And she says, why are you not worried? I said, I don't know. But it was really faith. It's faith.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking to a lot of people who lost everything during the pandemic. I'm talking about marriages broke up, relationship broke up, people lost jobs that they've been at for a decade or more, and that, like she was saying, that was their livelihood. That's all they knew. That was their identity. So now the pandemic hit and you lose everything. What do you do? Where do you turn to? But like you were saying, faith. When you know who you are and whose you are, it's easy to just, brush yourself off and get back up because you're not walking according to your own strength. You're not walking according to your own understanding. Lean not towards your own understanding, but in all your ways, acknowledge your creator and he will direct your path. And that is what I live by.
And I just want to jump in. Like I told you, you hit it right on the head. Because growing up, I played football, and every time we lost, my coach would always say, like in every setback and every failure, there's a seed of an equal like opportunity to succeed. So like like if I lost, I could go back to my tapes and like retrack my steps to make to win the next game. So I totally agree.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, same here. I guess it's crazy because when I had a 9 to 5, my vision was always on my dream. Like it never stopped. Like it was a faith walk for me where I knew where I was going to go. I knew I was going to be on these shows. I knew what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And it just was I never felt that I wanted to ever give up. Like even when it's tough, even when it's hard,
Yeah.
I just continue to look into my creativity
Yeah.
and just trust God. So that's what kind of just keeps me going. Whatever it is that's going on, I just try to show up.
Show up.
You know, just show up.
And I love that. I love that.
Well, I've had moments where I wanted to quit, but I didn't feel it was an option
Yeah.
because for such a long time, the reason why I wanted to do media and I wanted to acquire fame, and because where I'm from, fame gives you power to change the world around you. I never saw a me where I'm from. And
And where are you from?
I'm from West Africa, Liberia. I never saw a award-winning actress. I don't, she don't exist. There's no award-winning producer that I know at that time that existed. So to have the dream and the aspiration was almost impossible because I didn't even know they existed. But I knew that I wanted to be known and famous. That was it. Then I saw That's a Raven. I'm like, oh, I can act, I can sing, I can dance, I can sew, I can cook, I can tie-dye, and then I just listed it. But America gave me the opportunity to see these habits of mine as a career path that can give me the fame that I've always wanted. So it's been a journey and a learning one. So at no point I felt like giving up. I just cry a lot when it gets hard. I get frustrated a lot. She knows because I call and then I go, but
I know. I remember.
God is good. And I just, for this question, whoever it is, you got to put God first. It's just that it sounds so small and simple, but that's
Right.
all it is. No matter what answer we're going to give you at the end of the day, if God is first and your purpose is center, you'll be fine. And that feeling of giving up, when it comes, you know what to do and
Right.
how to deal with it.
I just want to add something to what you said. A lot of times people look at crying as a weakness, but sometimes that seed has to be watered,
Yes.
and that's what your tears are
Your
doing.
tears are watering.
Your tears are, you know, it goes into the effort and everything that you're doing. So it's not a fault. It's not, oh, I'm failing. Sometimes you need that to heal and to
Yes.
help, you know, minister to what that seed is supposed to
Yeah.
manifest into.
I like that. I like that. I like that. Okay. Anyone else? Or yes.
I mean, I would piggyback on just what everybody said, but I would really say, just from my experience,
Yeah.
you know, creativity is a gift from God.
Yes.
And once the gift is within you, it can't go away.
No.
You will find the gift transfer into multiple dimensions and mediums, but that essence of creativity and self-expression,
Doesn't go anywhere.
when you try to leave that, a part of you is gone
Yes.
because you're leaving part of your identity. And as creatives and as artists, it's so important to just be bold enough and
Yeah.
be courageous enough to keep walking
Yeah.
in our creativity,
I like
because
that.
everything you see, to be honest, is creation. So when you allow yourself to be yourself and you say, okay, this is what I want to create,
Yes.
let me go do that, let me go express myself, the sky's the limit.
I love
So
that.
there's absolutely no limits to what we can create, especially for the simple fact that we do come from the creator.
I love that. And just to piggyback off of that was a whole word, right? I'm gonna somebody say amen.
Amen.
I'm gonna need a whole that's a whole word, because just piggybacking off of what Chardell said, there is power in your creativity. If you are
Yes.
formed in the likeness and image of our creator, you are a creator yourself. That means you have dominion in your gifts. So until you can walk in your creative power, whatever that creativity may be, that is your purpose, that is your story, that is your reason and your why for being on this earth, right? Until you can tap into that, that is your dominion, that is your power. And until you can tap into that power, that's kind of, you're living life purposeless. So there's power in your creativity as a creator and find that and take dominion.
That's her favorite word, dominion. I like what she
Dominion,
says.
power.
I mean, I'll just say that your gifts will take you places.
It will make room for you.
It'll make room.
Mm-hmm.
It'll introduce you to people.
Yes.
It will make the people who create the word
Yes.
bow at your feet because God give you that gift.
Yes.
And that's why looking and finding and searching and journeying to find what that one little itty bitty thing is so important.
Yes. All right. So thank you so much for that. That was amazing. I love each and every one of your answers and your insight. That was beautiful. And that takes me to my next question, bridging the gap. In today's day and age, it's all about keeping up with the trends. How do you stay relevant? How do you stay current? How do you stay relevant and current, but yet still be authentic and true to yourself genuinely? Where you can sleep at night and not feeling like you sell yourself short, because today's day and age, a lot of people are in this season of comparison and trying to fit in. When you're trying to stay relevant and follow trends, you're also trying to fit in, yet still trying to stay relevant. How do you stay authentic to yourself if that's what the trend is not really you, but still stay relevant?
That's a deep question. And one thing that I would say, to be honest, is that the superpower is you. We have all been conditioned in some type of way.
Yeah.
And it takes courage to look outside. I call it the matrix, basically, to look outside the matrix and say, who do I want to be? Let me start defining myself, because the only person that you can be is yourself. You literally can't be anybody except for that.
Yes, say that.
So I feel like this is just my personal experience. The more authentic that you stay within who you are and you're willing to walk in your light, those
Yes.
opportunities, those connections, all of that will fall in place. Because when you're seeing something that's not of you, you will never be able to glow to your fullest capabilities. You might gain financial success, you might gain accolades, all of these things, but there's a certain emptiness that you will feel because you're not staying true to your core.
Yes,
That's
I
just
love
my
that.
opinion.
Like, are you trying to fit in or stand out? And stand out means stand apart. Are you trying to fit in or stand out? And I'm gonna let that marinate. That's your homework for today. Are you trying to fit in or stand out and stand apart?
Now, excellent question. Standing out is such a simple thing, but it's so hard. That's why a lot of people don't do it. Because in order to stand out, you got to know what you're standing up into. Like, she said, because I feel like it only works if you're willing to do the work. And becoming or even knowing what your intensity is work.
Yes.
It's a lot of self-development. It's a lot of knowing self and spending time with self and creating a relationship with self to even understand what it means to be your authentic self.
Yes.
And it's within that journey
Yeah.
you find your peace and you're able to produce the quality products that will stain you apart.
Yes.
The second you stray, like she said, it feels the emptiness. Because somebody asked me the other day, we're talking about money, and they were like, rich people are miserable. I'm like, you ain't never met one. Because all the ones I know, they're happy. That's why I want to be rich. My broke friends are miserable. They make me miserable, I love rich people. They take you out and pay your dinner, and you got to split with your broke friends. No.
No, sometimes your broke friends want you to cover
And cover,
the
see
bill.
what I mean?
Shoot, I'm a cash app you. You never get that cash app, honey. It will never hit your account.
And it's crazy to me because we got into a deep conversation because this individual really believed that money was the source of rich people misery. And I'm like,
Girl.
no.
Mm-mm.
It's who you are with the money is the issue.
Yeah.
So with success, with money, with whatever it is, it's who you are.
It's gonna heighten what's
and if
inside.
you can't find that who, you got a big problem.
Yeah.
No matter
Yeah.
what else that come on top.
Don't blame it on the money.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
blame
a
it on the
problem.
money. Money is good.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
Necessary.
no, I was just going to say that I feel like it's incredibly important to have a good circle around you.
Yeah.
People that's going to keep you grounded, but also able to hold you accountable to things.
Yes.
Speak of your name in rooms that you're not in. Also, just just hold you accountable and just keep you level-headed, because like you.
It takes a good tribe.
Every great leader have a good team. That's your money team. When you fall off and you feel like you want to give up, or you not even just give up, but it's like I'm exhausted, I'm on E. Those are the team that's gonna be like, girl, dry your eyes and pick yourself up. Let's go. We got things to do. We got a world to change. We gotta leave our mark. Let's go, because every visionary have a money team. Not everybody is called to be the front and center. Not everybody is called to be the front line. There's some people, their power is behind you. Behind every leader is a lot of different leaders, and they play in their rightful place. So yeah, it takes the right team, man. Anyone else?
So I find a strategy of actually highlighting goodness, amplifying goodness
Yeah.
in others, actually allows you to go for a ride with them, because when you take care of others, they can't help but return the favor. So amplifying goodness. And I love what you said about creation. There's a word I add to creation: choosing. Choosing creation is giving you the decision and the authority and the possibility to be a power of one, which God wants you to be. The people that don't show up, as you said, aren't showing up because they don't believe they're powerful enough.
Let's go.
Yes.
We're going to pause on that. The people who are not showing up is because they don't know how powerful they are. They don't know who they are yet.
Yeah, and every single person that's been a power of one person that's changed the world, they deemed themselves an average person that just stepped in their power.
Wow. 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 I love that. Anyone else before we move on? Anyone else want to talk about authenticity?
Authenticity.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah, I was just going to say, with trying to stand up and be, I guess, accepted from other people to
Yeah, staying relevant, but
like
you're
stay
still not
relevant.
losing yourself, right?
Yeah, I just would say, just practice learning who you are, and if you understand who you are, that's all you can be.
That's all you
You,
can
that
be.
you can't impress everybody.
No.
I mean, if you look at social media, everybody has their own followers
Yeah.
of what they do.
Yeah.
It's people that I've never even heard of that have millions and millions of followers, but that's their followers.
Yeah.
So we all have our own follower group or whatever, but we just have to be who we are and
Yeah.
just trust that. You
I
know.
like that.
I think that authenticity and vulnerability is a new currency. So if you speak from your heart, you're going to make a connection.
Yeah.
And someone recently, ego, the abbreviation,
Yeah.
edge God out.
Ooh, let's go. Wait, I gotta say that for the people in the back. Ego stands for edge God out. So leave your ego at the back door. I love that. That was it. And
That's it.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
It lost. Okay. And one thing before we move on to just to share a testimony on that, because I know when I wanted to go from my 9 to 5, my corporate, and I'm like, okay, I did enough where my job can pay for my dream, and I was ready to make that transition. It was not a easy transition because the sister was broke. I'm not saying I made it yet, but I'm on my way there. But when I first started out, it's read my book Love After. You'll know my story. But I wanted to make my mark, and for a while I didn't know who I was, and I didn't know how to show up as my authentic self because I didn't know who is Jacint. What is going to set me apart, God? I know we're all individual hero. What is my calling? I know there are people out there waiting on my yes. There's people out there waiting on me to step into my calling and to be obedient so I can help pay it forward and bring them with me. And until you know that, you're not walking in your blessing, which therefore you're being disobedient. And I found my niche. At first, I was a little insecure about my accent because I'm from Jamaica. I was insecure because I did not look and sound like everyone. When I came to America, I had a huge culture shock. I'm coming from pigs and goats and cows in my backyard, and I can just climb a tree. I'm a tom girl, so you might see a lot of bumps and bruises. I fell out of many trees. And climbing trees, and then coming to New York City where I'm these big buildings, skyscrapers, and it's busy, and I'm dealing with bullying because of my accent, because I dress different. I was very quiet. So to use that now as my gift and my weapon, now I'm like, okay, my niche is Caribbean content. because growing up, I didn't really see me on TV. And if I saw a Jamaican actor, it was the maid who had like a co-starring role, who were one-liner or the helper or that Rastafarian on the edge that was just had one line. So whenever I saw a Jamaican on screen and they were a lead, it was an American actor hired to do a fake behind accent, which gets under my skin. No, no hate to Tay Diggs and how Stella got her back. Honey, you did an amazing job. But I just felt like if they had gave that opportunity to an authentic Jamaican actor, Angela Bassett could have carried that whole film by herself. But to put a fake Jamaican in that role just because of name, that is the narrative I'm trying to change. So that's when I found my power. I found my niche and what I'm going to do to make a difference. So it's very important to, like we all say, know your identity and what's going to set you apart because that is your relevancy. Staying true to yourself and find out what makes you you and what makes you unique. Any other questions or comments before we move on?
I just want to give a behind as a producer. I when I became a producer, I learned that they didn't they didn't tell me no because something was wrong with me. The role was wrong for me. That's all that was. That's why I got no's. And I got comfortable with the no's from that moment.
Yes.
Because when you come here as an immigrant, and to this day, I still lose roles because of my accent. And it's like, it's the only thing I have left in my voice that identify me as a Liberian woman, as an African woman. So I really am sensitive about keeping it. But as a producer, I realized that when when there's more producers like Jason making films like she does, there's more opportunity to make other people's dreams come true. So if you are true to yourself, for every true, authentic thing you do, it opens a way and it inspires someone that is unlike you and you have no idea. And that's why it's so important for you to be yourself. Because there is somebody out there
Waiting for you.
waiting
They're waiting on
for you to do that one thing.
Your
For
calling.
them to say, you know what? That's it. We ready. She called. We going.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just wanted to say that to encourage people, whatever the box is that you mentally and you just let it go. Because our producer like Justin, I just might need you and me. So yeah.
So, but if you won't find your calling if you're not authentic. If you're not authentic, we can't discover you, right? So I love that. Our next question is, what was the best advice you've gotten on this journey? Like, what was that one thing that somebody said to you, and that thing is what keeps you going? It replays because sometimes the best advice comes from people you don't even know. It could be that DM that's like, yo, I needed that, and that just stays on your heart. Sometimes your biggest supporters are from people that don't even know you. Virtual supporters are the bomb.com. I'm gonna need y'all to give it up for our virtual supporters that don't even know us,
online
but support us
in-laws.
more than people who know us. Listen,
So y'all
the
online
power
in-laws,
of
we love y'all.
the power of online is serious. It changed the game for content creators. Look, you now can create your own table. Seriously. So yeah.
So for me, I would say the best piece of advice that I've gotten and kind of tweaked
Yeah.
is that your vision isn't for everybody.
Ooh.
And so when I realized that, it was it was imperative because what's in you and what God has placed in you, you don't understand it because He didn't give it to you, and you're gonna base how you respond to my vision off of your experiences.
Ooh.
So when you're talking to your parents, and your parents are sometimes the people who really don't understand where you're coming from because their experiences have not been your experience.
Right.
And so you have to always kind of, that tribe that we talked about earlier, it's real. You have to identify people who are like-minded and are going to push you and elevate you in all that you do. But you also have to understand sometimes you just have to walk in silence. There's
Talk
power
about
in
it.
silence.
Let's give it up for power in silence.
Because if you learn to be authentic to who you are,
Yes.
get those downloads as to what you're supposed to be
Ooh,
doing
that gave me chills.
and how you should be activating and operating in the world, you're going to bless so many people, because a lot of times we're doing things not because this is just what I want to do. It's been placed on our hearts to do it. And so, like you were saying earlier, if I'm not obedient to my calling, if I'm not obedient to what I'm supposed to do without fear and just stepping in faith,
Walk by faith.
you're going to touch and heal and bless so many people. And you're not even going to know that you're doing it.
No.
But they're going to see you, they're going to hear you, they're going to experience you, and they're going to walk away and they're going to believe, oh, I can actually do what I'm supposed to do. Or I got the message that I was supposed to get, so I can, exactly, those confirmations.
Love that. Woo.
Can I just say one thing?
Oh
I
my
have done so
gosh.
many panels, but there's something so beyond powerful with this panel. I know you guys can feel that energy. Can't you feel
I
it's
feel the
like
energy,
it is
like,
something very
When I tell you, I literally have
beyond
goosebumps by
powerful
hearing, like,
with this
wow.
panel. I would say for my journey, this is my favorite quote of all time, and it really helps me, is the joy is in the journey. And a lot of times in life, we want these things so quickly, but we don't understand, like, life is nothing that you can do to make the baby 5 overnight. Like, it's impossible. You can try, it's not going to happen. And that's the same type of mindset that we have to have when it comes to our own self and our journey in this journey of life. Like, create the joy in your journey. Find the thing that ignites your soul and really anchor in gratitude. Because this journey of life is never easy. There's always going to be things that we can't control, things that happen. It's just part of the human experience. But when you anchor in that joy and you find your own joy, it makes the journey so much better. So the joy is in the journey, and find your joy in your own journey.
Find joy in the journey and power in your silence. Your vision is not for everybody. I'm just making sure y'all take notes, okay? All right. Yes, catching. Oh, Lord.
Well, I was just going to say, for me, the piece of advice that kind of every day is on my mind is that you're enough. A lot of times we hear so many outside voices, or even in our own mind. You know, we talk ourselves out of opportunity, our greatness. So it's just working on your mind every day. You know, doing affirmations, different things that can continuously feed your soul and your spirit. Because whatever you do, it's always going to be somebody else that's you're going to see somebody doing it, and you're like, oh man, they did it before me. But if it's still in you, you have to go and do it.
But they're not going to do how you did it.
Exactly. You're enough. Like who you are, you're special to the world. We're like snowflakes. Everybody's different.
I just want to add to that. There are millions of podcasts on the circuit. Millions. And I have people come to me and say, but why would I create one? There's one already talking about this. There's one already doing this, right? And what I tell them is, they're not you. Your experience, they don't have. If you have the idea that you're supposed to be sharing your story, that's your testimony. That's your experience that you've gone through, and you will bless others through your example and your testimony and things that you've been through. So just everything that you just said is so true. But you have to know that you're enough. Your story is enough. And one of the things I was going to be talking about earlier, there's money in your story. How do you tap into sharing your story and monetizing that story? You got to own it. You have to own it. There's like nothing more to it. Like everybody can't, and they're not willing to own it. own it, and the prophet will follow. Oh, be obedient, the prophet will follow me. Yeah.
You want that?
Mac. Oh.
Okay. So I did not get the words directly from Malcolm Gladwell. I read his books, but we talked about if it was a challenge, what do you do to get through the challenge? If it wasn't challenges, there wouldn't be learning cycles, and if there wasn't learning cycles, there would just be a bunch of people that had no special connection to what they created. And so I think it's just very important to know that you have to create a tipping point. You have to be committed to doing 10,000 hours. And the sooner you get to 10,000 hours, the higher the acceleration is that you are being seen. And I want to say something to you. My mentor gave me a card, Keep Smiling. This he booked me during the pandemic to do my dissertation on my TED Talk, What is your SPH? What are your smiles per hour? What are you giving yourself a smile? And what are you emitting? What are you causing? But I have a card made, my 38th language was made, because when I went to Jamaica, people didn't understand that Keep Smiling card. So I had to actually make this card for you.
Keep smiling, man. I love that. My turn. Great. Well, Mac first. Oh, go ahead, Wayne.
Oh yes, I'm sorry about that, but I think mine would just be it doesn't matter your hand, but it matters how you play your deck. And basically, like in life, all that matters is how you strategically move.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, I like that. It doesn't matter the hand that you're dealt, it's how you play your hand, how you play the cards that you are dealt. That's another good big dog, y'all. This is good stuff, okay? Go ahead, Miss Diamond. Well, why you getting your stacks together? You got to trust your process. Trust the process. It's a long time coming for me to understand that because I'm not so patient with myself. I'm so impatient. I don't have hair because I'm not patient with myself. It's very. We might be from the same tribe. I don't know. And the crazy thing is hey, that's what makes it funny. But I don't have the patience for myself because I always feel everything else my obligation outside is more important than mine to self. And it comes from that scary place, that place of insecurity and all of that stuff. So you're like, I'd rather give you because then I don't get to focus on self. So when I understood, and I meditated for 8 hours that day, and it hit me, trust the process. And then that's what I've been doing, but it's so hard because trusting the process for me means you have to have faith. You have to be committed. Yeah. And when things go sideways, when you've done every single thing right to the absolute best of your knowledge and your ability and your resources, and then nothing turns out how you want it, that's when the crying comes in. But you have to trust the process because it's in that moment.
I learned that I am a tough, I am a tough, strong female. Right now, at this place in my life, I feel like I can move a mountain. Yes. Literally. Yeah. It might take me a couple of days. There's some shelter. But I'm going to move that mountain. Yes. Because now I understand that there is a beginning, there's an end. Whatever happens in the middle is totally up to me. Yes. So I keep my eye on that end result. If it takes 20 years, yes, I keep my eye on that end result. And that's how I can function mentally, spiritually, physically. I trust the process. Yeah. When I go to the gym at 6 o'clock, I just got to get there. I might not go in. Jesus. Yeah. I'm going to walk around the building.
I can so see Diamond doing that and be on her phone trying to get selfies and reels.
But I did go to the gym. And I got that day in. And then the next time I just might go in and just sign in and go to the pool and come out. But by the end of the week, I would have worked out. And sometimes that's how dreams become reality.
Yes.
That's how we take ideas from our heads
Yes.
that only you are stuck at night, can't sleep because
Yes.
guys tell you, gotta go do this thing, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. And then you go do it. That's how it happens. So, yeah, that's my
Being
2 cents.
obedient,
God, trust the
man.
process.
Trust the process. I love that. And showing up, trusting the process, being obedient, trusting the process, showing up authentically. And real quick, as we wrap this up, what does purpose looks like to you guys? What does purpose look? Everyone say, walk in your purpose. What is your purpose? Walk in your purpose. Some people don't know what they're. I'm talking to grown adults older than me that don't know what their purpose is or how to walk in that. So, what advice would you give somebody like, what does purpose look like to you?
I feel like when I graduated college, somebody told me, "What would you do if you had $1 billion every day?" And that's what I do now. Like I wanted to help the community. I wanted to do service in the community. I wanted to do social justice work. And I felt like if you keep that in mind, like what would you do if you didn't have to worry about money or
I
anything
like
like that?
that.
You stay focused that way.
I like that.
So for me, in my book, Side Hustle to Main Hustle, one of the things that I talk about is a time when I was like 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
I would always make uh, cards and program books and put on plays, and I would have my brother and my sister acting, right? And I would literally, write out the program, take it to my parents, for them to come for the show and all of that. I was still doing this at 6, 7, 8 years old, right?
Wow.
And what I realized as I got older, nobody taught me how to do those things.
Wow.
Those were innate gifts. And so what I tell people is if you go back and think about
To childhood.
your childhood,
Ooh, that's
what were some of the things that you just naturally, innately were doing, were interested in? Nobody had to
deep.
tell you anything.
That's deep. I
That's
never
where your
thought
purpose
about
is.
that. I really never thought about that.
That's how, and when I thought more and more about it, when I went to school, what I'm doing now, these are all things that
Oh
I
my
always
God.
did, that nobody told me, Angel, go do this, go be this,
I'm
go
gonna
build that.
Let's take a moment, you guys. That just hit me like a ton of bricks. Take 10 seconds to think back to that one thing you did as a child that just came natural to you. I never did that mental exercise before. We're going to have a moment of silence to just think back to that childhood thing that made you feel so free that you did in your room when no one was looking. Wow.
And when I realized
Wow.
that, I was like, here's how we can help people find their purpose.
Wow.
And 9 times out of 10, your passion is there too.
I like that because I do remember I used to always put my Mickey Mouse and my stuffed animals and I put on shows with them. Yeah. And with my Barbies, I used to make them talk and do performances.
See?
And now I'm thinking back, that's a showrunner. Hey, come on, somebody, I produce a show. Let's go. What is that show? I just got a revelation. I'm about to go home and get the right end. I just got to, if nothing else happens today, I got my revelation. God, the work is done. I'm done. Good night. Next.
So what does purpose look like for me?
Yes.
There's this question I always ask myself. Why what am I doing here? Like, and you ask yourself this when you're at that low and it seems like you can't come up with nothing else again. Because, us creative, when you have that blockage, right?
Oh, yes.
It's like meaning hell on earth. Because nothing else in your life seems to be working. Like that blockage, you just reflect it on every other aspect of your life till you can get out of that. So for me, it was, why am I here? What was the purpose? Because I identify with so much. My transition in my life has been so much from Africa to America, and then experiencing the difference in culture, self, dating. Like, those type of things. It's
Yeah.
it's very different. So my thing was, why was I here? And then I was a PK kid growing up, so the whole church part, I don't know it just make you extra confused. As a kid growing up, so it was why you was here, why God, why you put me here, and I did what she just spoke of. That's what I've done my whole life. So I've I didn't know how to get to it, but I knew that's what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Because that one thing I love, I remember I was growing up boarding school, because my family had cable. So we'll watch the American movies when we go for a vacation. Then when we come back on campus, I would have a room full of my friends, and they would just listen to me tell the movie, scene by
Oh.
scene, and I would act it
They
out.
didn't have the, they didn't have
They
to
couldn't
take
watch the
cable.
film. So I'm there
Wow.
explaining Rambo. He went and he was like,
In your library, say, how did you say it with your Liberian accent? How did you say it?
I was like, look, I tell you when it make it to the place. Everybody. And they're like, oh my God, what happened next? And they would sit there and they would watch me, and they would watch me just do crazy stuff for hours. I was just happy.
Living
To
in your
get
truth.
that movie that I saw 2 hours to watch. That was it. And fast forward all of this, transitioning, I just wanted to act first. And then I met Jacinda, and she was producing. I'm like, what is that? I can do it too. Let me go Google. My YouTube. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write this story. And I met her. It's like acting in a movie. It's like, I like you though, but QVC just called me. But let me know. And then fast forward another 4 years later,
Yeah.
I legit learned how to write a movie, produce the movie, edit the movie, read, and a whole bunch of other stuff in between.
Yeah.
In the last couple of years, I ain't going nobody's school, they didn't teach me nothing. But that's how I found my purpose and my passion,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? So
All
yeah.
right. All right. Real quick. Purpose, Nakia.
So I would just say the fire. Like I've had this burning energy as a kid that I still have today. And I was extremely quiet as a kid. So the art world and the acting, all it was not part of my world. I was a shy kid. So the fact that I'm acting right now, the fact that like if somebody would have tapped me on my shoulder and say, "Hey, when you get older, you're gonna be an actor on TV, in theater," I probably wouldn't have believed them because it wasn't in my world, it wasn't in my space. But I felt that in me as a kid. I felt I didn't know how to get it out there, but it was there, and it's still burning today. And I say, whatever your burning desire, your that feeling that you have, just follow that,
Yeah.
find it, and just go after it. So, like for me, I went to acting school. I got hollered at. I lost my lines. Like I had to go through all of that. All of that could have stopped me, but that fire did not let me stop. Did not let me quit. And I'm still learning today. Like it's not over.
Process. It's
It's still a
ongoing.
process.
That's how you
So
evolve.
yeah, you got to continue to
Yeah.
learn the 10,000 hours. You got to keep it going.
Yes.
But just listen to that voice, listen to that fire, and just keep going.
Amen. And Dr. Smiley and then Chardell, and we wrapping up.
So purpose is why, as we've already identified. But I think when you have a conversation and you're partnering with God, it becomes your calling. And in that
Yes.
calling, you get to elevate yourself to make connections and inspire humanity.
Yes.
And when you do that, you leave a legacy. So my biggest pride is my son is 9 years old. He has written 8 books. He just got a letter back from President Biden on his book on Kenny's Favorite Place in America. And I say this because all of us are in this space right now to inspire.
Yes.
And I think that when you get that purpose that you're inspiring others, you're inspiring yourself.
Yes. I love
Kudos
that.
to you, baby.
Chardell.
Powerful, powerful. I would say with purpose, it's always centered in your spirit. Your spirit always knows. you can't even explain it. It begins as a child.
Yeah.
It goes through you, and it's like being able to trust that inner voice, the intuition, whatever you want to call it, and be willing to take those steps necessary. You'll be good. But it's always in you. You just have to be willing to create it outwards.
And in wrapping up, I would say your purpose is oftentimes tied to your pain as well. That is your
Yes.
story. That's your test and what you go through in life that try to block you. That is your testimony. That's why the odds are against you, because the enemy job is to keep you from tapping into your purpose and walking in power. So your test is your testimony. The very thing that you thought is your mess and nobody, I'm not good enough. God, you can't use nobody like me. I don't want to show up and show, your mess is your message. That thing that made you messy and you feel like inadequate and you feel insecure, that is your message, that is your testimony. And where your pain lies, that's your purpose. Because when you step into that, your testimony is now helping the people behind you. You're paying it forward. And there are people that's looking at you as their hero, that's saying, if she could do it or if he could do it, so can I. Your pain is your purpose. Walk into that thing. Don't fall into insecurity or fear or feeling of inadequacy because of what you did or what your past is like. That's your power card. That is how you take dominion. Use that thing, because all things have to work for your good. Have to work for your good. That's the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it's your story. And I'm sticking to it. And you sticking to it too. All right, so real quick, we're wrapping up. Thank you so much again for sitting in with the Creative Mind Expo. Do we have time for everyone to just say how can they, real quick from my left, how can people reach you? What's your handles?
Well, my handle on Instagram is mac.instagram, and I'm also CEO of Neighborhood Hope Dealers with a Z.
With a Z, yes.
I'm Angel Livis, and you can follow me on all social platforms at THEE Angel Nicole.
Charlotte Moore on all platforms, as well as Motivational Moore on Instagram. And also listen to my debut album, Inward Awakening, on all platforms.
Mr. Smiley, Dr. Smiley.
You can reach me on thekeepsmilingmovement.com, and I have a new book called Dose of Hope. I'd like all of you to be part of it. It's going out to 20 million people. It's you sharing your story of hope to bring hope to others.
I love that.
Love it.
You can find me on Instagram, Nakia Dillard. That's Nakia Dillard, Dillard.
I am Diamond Sampon. You can find me on all platforms. No, I'm not on Twitter. Instagram, Facebook, and all the other ones. Yeah, Diamond Sampon. And you can also follow my website, diamondstudioinc.com, to watch all of my content and learn a lot more about what I do.
Good. And I'm Jacinth Headlam. On Instagram is IamJacinth. But if you want a one-stop shop, is IamJacinth.com or theloveafter.com. It's that one-stop shop. It takes you to everything. My YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all of that. Thank you so much again. I need you guys to give it a round of applause to our trailblazers, our powerhouses up here. Dr. Smiley, Nakia Dillard, Diamond Sampon, Matt Graham, Angela Livis, and Chardell Moore, and myself, Jacinth Headlam. We're signing out. See you later. Woo!